Oh, it's 40 miles. Yeah. We're discussing that. It's better than. City Forum through last.
I left. In the last order.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I've got to Cedar Rapids. Oh, see, it's pushing that around. It's a good idea. Thanks to the last name. Well, I stayed here the morning. You don't call it. I don't think ever. That's the Verizon thing. Yeah. There is pretty. Then. It's 9:30. All those that so choose, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call the meeting to order. One absent. As a reminder, the meeting is being recorded. If you choose not to be recorded, you have the option of leaving. First item on the agenda this morning, Russell Novak, discuss urban revitalization zone in rural county. Good morning.
Come on, Russell.
Was that?
Come over here on that end.
Dan, Flip, what would you like?
Grab a chair, make yourself comfortable.
Good morning, Supervisors. I'd like to discuss the project we're looking to do on south of town. We're looking at building a new facility. We're looking at roughly a $5 million project that we're looking at doing. I'm not asking for any county money. We are completely self-funding, financing, and taking 100% operational risk of our new project. I'm requesting temporary tax abatement through a revitalization zoning that the county's done for a few other companies in the past. Perry Novak has had a presence in Winneshiek County for over 50 years. We've continued to grow in Winneshiek County. We are currently utilizing 3 locations, one in Decorah and 2 north of Decorah in Winneshiek County, which encompasses roughly 7 companies and multiple partnerships with several more throughout the area. We have roughly 100 employees currently that we've grown the business to. Our goal is to build one new facility to gain efficiencies and company. Our business is in Decorah and north of Decorah into one location. We'd like to have our new fireplace showroom and then our administration team along with our main office and our warehouse combined into one location. Our goal through this expansion is to add 5 to 10 above average jobs ranging from $40,000 to $100,000 a year with benefits that these people will spend money in our community. We'll continue to grow our revenue, which will be adding sales tax to Winneshiek County through this project. Another one of our businesses is self-storage. Through the past few years, we have roughly 700 doors of self-storage throughout Winneshiek, Howard, and Floyd counties. And we'd like to add a new facility at our new location that will offer RV storage with power that we currently don't have anywhere in the area. We are looking at buying land from Gory Hunter, south side of 52, just outside Decorah. We are currently in the process of rezoning that property to commercial. We meet with the zoning board tomorrow night to start that process, and then hopefully on a positive note that it'll end up at your table to vote on. Some of the challenges through our new project, 3-phase power is about 2.5 miles away. Roughly $125,000 cost that will occur to get 3-phase power to our site. We're working with My Energy through that process, but at the end of the day, we'll be writing a check out for that 3-phase power if that's what we'd like. We're working with another organization for LP. We'll need to have a fairly large source of LP gas to feed our new facility that natural gas is not present. The electrical industry is changing rapidly and requiring more advanced fabrication space and climate controlled inventory. And with our out-of-state competition, wanted to take our market over with out-of-state employees, which takes payroll and tax dollars away from Iowa completely. But our ask with this temporary tax abatement absorbing some of the upfront costs, construction materials premium, and rural infrastructure costs, this partnership would allow us to build a new efficient building, help retain and create high-paying jobs. Through this project or partnership with you guys, the tax roll, in my estimates, will take the property from $1,000 a year in property taxes to well over $60,000 a year property taxes for Winneshiek at the end of the tax abatement requested. I talked to Ben basically a few weeks ago, and he recommended this was my first step to come talk to you guys about seeing if you're interested in offering tax abatement like you have for a few other businesses throughout the years. It's kind of where we're at.
Basically, there's no action today. He's just coming to kind of give you an update on what the project is. The process for establishing the urban revitalization zone and approving the plan and project takes 2-3 months. By the time you're all said and done, quite a bit of paperwork and so legal costs involved. So he just wants to get your feeling on the, you aren't committing, but if you aren't interested in doing it, he doesn't want to spend the time and money associated with getting those first steps completed. So if there's interest in pursuing this, then he can start with working with.
How was that abatement structured again?
For a commercial project, I have some paperwork here that kind of goes through the steps. There are 4 different abatement options, but only 2 of them are available for commercial projects. So he would, and it's completely up to the developer or the owner of the property. Once you get this all in place, he can choose to either take 3-year full abatement, so no taxes for the first 3 years, or he can take a 10-year sliding scale where it starts at, I remember, 20 or 25% of the taxes he pays and goes up over 10 years to 80, and then the 11th year he would pay the full taxes.
So when we did Cresco, we built CHB in Cresco, we spent well over $1 million in Cresco 2 years ago. They have a standard 3-year policy, basically, that you get 3 years, 100% Didn't have to basically had to sign a piece of paper at the courthouse. My ask, I mean, obviously either is a benefit to our organization, but the charge would be over 10 years. You know, basically just for us to move, we're gonna spend $100,000 basically to move into a new facility. Right now, we just have some inefficiencies. We're on the north side of town heading south for most of our work. Our administration tab, office is down at Harshside. Our main contracting business that we do estimating and manage the guys out of is on Locust Road, just north of town. And we're storing a majority of our vehicles inside at our warehouse, a mile north of that. Like you've seen me do other projects that I've done, my goal is to have everything as much as possible inside, from trailers to equipment to have, you know, we want it to look very appropriate. It will be a large commercial building, but we will put everything inside. We want to make the front look nice and retail side for our fireplace showroom. Like right now, we have roughly 4 forklifts running before in 3 different locations. Well, if I efficiently put that into one location, we'll have 1 forklift. You know, we'll have 1 person managing inventory for our different businesses. We'll have 1 mechanic that's around all of our equipment. But the big thing is a lot of our work is south. And we're driving through Decorah to get to Locust Road to get to our current facilities. So that's our goal, is to look at combining this. And we have tried to buy it, or we've talked to several farmers up and down the highway, trying to find someone that would be willing to work with us. And that's definitely challenging, finding a location that's minimize the amount of dirt work, to provide, working with the DOT to provide the right ability to see. Right now we have a permit into the DOT requesting taking a farm entrance to a commercial entrance. More than likely what we had to do in Cresco is we'll have to hire an engineer to basically do a transportation study, which is common. Practices that we've all done in the past.
And it's important to note that what he's requesting and talking about today, the abatement is completely separate from the zoning process. I mean, that's something he's gonna, whether you do an abatement or not, and he would decide whether he decides to proceed with the project or not, that zoning is something extra, that's separate. But he could still get the zoning, whether you do an abatement or not, and have permission to build there. This is just to talk about the abatement request.
How many acres site is it, Russell?
We're looking at 17 acres. How Gordon's property is cut up, we're going to use less than that. But he only has so much access along the highway. So some of it kind of cuts back, and we are following a retention pond. We're doing the right, we want to build it correctly. Basically part of our self-storage brand, you know, it only makes sense for us to tie in our other businesses. And one thing that we see in the self-storage side is that the market is full of your traditional 10 by 20 units. We built last year, we built a 15,000 square foot facility in Charles City that's climate controlled and RV storage, inside storage. And the RV site's already full. The people that want to put their 35-foot camper inside a building, that can have access to at any time with ability to trickle charge. This site, my proposal is to go one site farther. We'll actually fence it in, so you'll have a gated space to get into yours, and then we'll actually have outside storage with electricity, you know, in an appropriate, good-looking manner.
Is this a mix of both inside and condition?
Yes. Yep. The climate control, I've focused on mainly smaller 10 by 15, 10 by 20 units. I have not went down the avenue of climate control for like RV storage. In my mind, I think the utilities could get pretty spendy to do that side. So to put a steel building up and to get it out of the weather. I mean, the county offers stuff at the fairgrounds, but we offer something different, that they can access it any time of the year, that they have power, but it's also, the cost is different also. And then I did not bring the site plan, but the site plan will be present tomorrow night for the zoning meeting, and I definitely can get you that.
Is that a M2?
No, so I'm C, so basically C1 is what they're proposing. I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't fit perfectly anywhere, but Tony recommended that C1 was what he felt was the closest. Interesting, it talked about HVAC, trades businesses, but not electrical, and then it talked about so I worked with Tony to do the best of his ability to meet the zoning requirements that he recommended.
What you mentioned, I think construction material premium was a term I thought I understood you.
Well, basically, it's basically the premium of basically where we want to build in the county from. We're gonna probably invest somewhere around $100,000 in LP storage, vaporizer to get LP to our new building. We're gonna have $125,000 in getting three-phase electrical current to our facility. So those are some of the premiums that we're going to have to work through to be able to build.
What have we done for priors?
The last one we did was, implement
So you told me that
storage.
Brent's,
Brent's, yeah.
Wicks are two that I've got them in the
Now,
past.
the last one we did was Princess up on highway, up past the airport on Highway 9. That one wasn't nearly as big. That was a little over $500,000, I think, project, but they did the abatement on that one. And then Wicks up by the John Deere dealership, that was actually before I was auditor, but that was one of the last really big ones that the county did for abatements.
What did we previously do, 3 or 10 or something in the front?
You, as far as the way I read this, you don't choose that. But the developer choose that. If you put that in the,
That's the options.
those are the options in the plan that are allowed under Iowa code. So, I mean, I suppose you could not put one of the options in the plan, even though they're in the code, but I think you just copy what the code gives as the options, and then they choose which one they want. The difference is just adding it up with the 3-year abatement. They aren't going to pay tax at all for 3 years, and then they'll hit on the 4th year for all of it. With the 10-year abatement, they actually, the way the sliding scale works out, they get to skip about 4.5 years of the taxes, but it's spread out over a 10-year period. So it starts at 20%, 30, 40, 50, all the way up till they pay 80% the last year, and then.
And my
100%.
understanding though is basically whatever you don't get what it currently is getting. So
Right.
The county wouldn't lose.
Right, the
They're just going to
$1,000 of taxes or whatever it is on the land right now will always stay there. It's only, this is an abatement on the improvements. So it's kind of like a TIF where you're exempting to the new value, but in a TIF district, you're using that money to reinvest in the building if you needed to build streets or sewer or something. And so since you don't have that infrastructure to be able to make this property be developed, you're giving it off for him because he's going to make the investment to do that, those infrastructure needs. So like in the city, like Calmer out by the Dollar General and so on, they TIF, so they made the property owner still paid the full taxes. They just took that new money and paid for the streets and the sewer and the water and stuff that they had to do.
And basically, we're just completing a storage facility in Kelmer behind the church, and that's 3 years. And it wasn't an option. Basically, that's what the city's plan was. Basically, I didn't even have to ask it where it was. Basically, you're adding value to the community. And we took a lot that the church had that was paying virtually nothing for tax, and our bill's probably going to be $7,000 a year forever. So it's more revenue.
So like you don't have a current plan in the county for the rural area. You've always done these on a case by case basis. But some cities like Calmer must have an existing plan in place. So they don't have to go through all the steps. And like the city of Decorah has an existing plan in place for residential property development. If you build a new house or remodel a house more than 25%, you get an abatement for so many years. So they have a plan in place. You don't have a plan in place. That's why it takes more steps and longer to do this. And I mean, theoretically, you could put a plan in place for some area of the county that you wanted to see development, but not knowing where that's gonna be, I mean, it's easier to do it on a case by case basis rather than just have this blanket for certain areas.
That's on the east side of 52 going just past Volcadals.
Yep. So basically I talked to Susan. Kind of funny, I knocked on her door and asked if she'd be interested, because it sounds like many years ago, the international dealership at one point was gonna build on her land, I would call it south of her house, and that never came to fruition, but she was not interested at this time.
You're outside of the sphere of the city, that location,
What was that?
outside of the sphere, the 2 mile sphere of influence.
We're in that 2 mile sphere, but to my understanding, the city has no say unless it's a subdivision. And this would be the first division of this quarter, to my understanding.
Your current facilities, what will happen to those? I mean, like,
Um,
2 on Locust Road.
So the main office, my parents have a lifetime lease to the house. And kind of working through with my father that he wants to rent, call it the main office side. The 2 climate controlled buildings on the other side will rent out as storage. And then what I call the upper garage, we will sell that building lot. Basically, it has a garage on it that was designed to build a house, so we'll sell that upper lot. And then we have 2 interested parties that will probably sell what I call the green shed, or the warehouse north of town. But they are also working with Tony because the zoning when that was done was pretty specific to our use. And
What was the zone then?
well, I think we had
Was it agricultural?
it was ag, and I was not part of the whole process with that, but the beginning part of the process. But he has a special use permit for electrical storage. Our business does for that property. So the next,
It's like a conditional
There, yeah.
zoning, and it probably has a clause in there that if you're changing the use, it reverts back to ag, so whoever's interested in buying it's gonna have to go through the process.
so we have one, the 2 parties, one's ag, one's not. The one that's not has been working with Tony as far as that process to get it rezoned. We're not trying to skate anything. There are steps to all this, but I'm not gonna sell that property unless we build a property. So it's following different steps. And I'm not gonna say 100% this is gonna be the lot we build on. We may not build in this location. So we're asking for different programs to see what's out there and available. And our offer with Gordon is there's some contingencies to that offer. Obviously the easiest one would be the rezoning, but there's other contingencies on that offer also.
You don't foresee at this juncture any issue with DOT?
I do not. We worked with the DOT when we did our Cresco facility. We had to invest roughly $6,000 in a traffic study to understand the process of the traffic. We are gonna have semis leaving and coming our property, but it's not every 15 minutes. I mean, I would say we get 8-10 deliveries a day. We have 10 customers that come a day, and we have probably 25 employees that show up at our main shop. And one nice thing with this property is when you were exiting this, they really look at how far you can see each direction. And we're very blessed in this location that if we would have went to Sharon's, it's a lot closer to the corner coming up, which would have been more challenging. People are typically into the throttle coming up that hill, and you have a semi pull out. So this property getting a little bit farther south does actually add a fair amount of flexibility coming in or out. And our building is going to be roughly 200 feet setback from the road. So somebody coming onto this property, there's not going to be a congestion at the end of our property. And that's, so there is a current farm entrance there now. we need something wider that a semi could turn on to. And we're working with Nick at the DOT. We did our application last week. He's actually gonna come, he's gonna be in this area this week, he said, but they're pretty good to work with. They want to understand what you're gonna do and how wide the road's gonna be and understand how you're gonna use it. And knowing that there already is something there that is in our benefit.
Now, the mix of storage is gonna be primarily large storage for RV or gonna be a mix of,
It'll be a mixed and it'll be all gated. So basically there's when you get to larger communities, I'm the ones that come Cedar Falls, Waterloo, a lot of those are to meet the zoning in those communities that they're fenced in and there's different guidelines to that. And so we want to be fenced in. The nice thing when we can use the same entrance is somebody with a 40-foot camper can pull in and be in our property before they actually pull into what I call the storage facility. And another service we want to offer is somebody that brings a 40-foot camper in that may not feel comfortable backing in the storage unit. We're going to offer a service that basically just drop it off and we'll put it away. So we'll have forklifts or construction forklifts at our facility. That's another service and kind of nice to have. You know, we can take a piece of equipment from our electrical business of a construction forklift or skid loader and basically help people put their campers. You know, a 40-foot camper back in a 13 or 14-foot wide door isn't an undertaking for someone that doesn't do it every day. And then we want to have outdoor storage basically, but in a nice clean row with basically power available. I mean, if you see my other projects, we want this to look very nice. We're not someone to leave trash outside. We're not someone. When we went through the process originally with the Cade made and got special use, I mean, we didn't have one thing outside. You know, so we followed what we had to by the zoning and supervisors and
landscaping.
so basically we'll have a sign near the road. We'll have grass on the front. We'll have a nice display area for our fireplaces with an overhang and some stone in the front of the building. Our retention pond that I want to design will be what they call a wet retention pond. So the bottom will always have water in it. We actually want to put a fountain in it. So we want it to look really nice as you come up to the be transparent, yes, but I guess I haven't put a lot of thought into that side, but that's absolutely, we want to
concertina wire.
no, that's not going to happen. And that's very, even like around our storage facility, you know, as we do solar projects, we use all PVC coated chain link fence to look nice. The trees that just have to be congregate, I want people to see the building. So I don't want a 20-foot tall tree lining the front and, you know, we've built a reputation on our fireplace showroom that I feel that people will come to us, but I also don't want to be blinded when someone drives down the road not to see this.
so you're gonna kind of follow the Daryl Ridenour, Daryl's mini storage plan of the fountain and the access to your mini storage.
Where is that?
If you're not familiar with him, he was a large developer of mini storage in California.
Oh, okay.
Daryl's mini storage all over now, but it was huge. Started with a small business in the 70s and became extremely successful. But his motto has always been a very, very sharp looking storage facility. So it's worth taking a look at his.
I definitely will.
Property.
Just the happy medium, I think, from that and being cost effective in our, we aren't able to, my just first perception is we probably aren't going to get the same rent that he would get in some of his facilities in our community, but we definitely want it to look nice. I mean,
He doesn't go in the big metropolitan area.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
Okay. But we want it to look nice. We're gonna pick a nice view and you're definitely welcome to see the new facility we built in Kellner. We added on to a facility in Charles City to make it look nice. And we definitely we care about what our facilities and, you know, Dad invested a lot in our current facility to log side the front and make it look nice as people come into our current facility. The storage shed north of town, he put all the garage doors on the back side. So if you drive Locust Road and see the big warehouse up on Locust Road, there's no doors facing the road. So we really try to do the best we can.
So I know we can't take action on this, but are you guys in favor of how we move forward with it?
Yeah, I'd like to see the development really.
The what?
I'd like to see the development.
Thank you.
Go forward,
Yeah.
my opinion.
At this point, I would favor for the tax abatement.
So something in the minutes like a consensus to proceed and he can start the tax abatement process. Is there, I don't know, I hear two.
Two, said two, no. They never asked either, so.
I was thinking the same thing.
We just did two. What?
But
They never asked.
Hollins.
Collins had asked me about the process, but I think they started kind of late. And so when I told them, you know, I was gonna take a few months and public hearing and so on, they never, and legal expenses, they never came back. And so maybe Steph can, because I know they asked her and then she had them talk to me, but I think they just didn't want to wait for that whole thing and went proceeded without it, but.
Yeah, it's a process and Russell knows that.
The big thing here, we won't be doing anything till next year, but when we start, we'll do it all. So, with that, we're working with staff and, on some other, opportunities to help with our project, knowing that, if this is our final location and everything followed through, that we potentially move some dirt late fall. Because the big thing for Gordon, if I wanted to start tomorrow, unless it was zoned correctly, I gotta buy the crop that's in it. So, he kind of threw a number of, $800 to $1,000 an acre for every acre you want to destroy, and that's not morally right either, to basically tear down a crop that you planted, fertilized, and harvested, and we're just not quite ready either. So when talking to Ben for some of this process and expense and effort, that kind of fits in the timetable of when we'd like to start.
Those first planning and zoning needs to weigh in on.
I think your interest in offering an abatement or not is completely separate, because that, with the zoning, it's still gonna have to come to you after the B and Z hearing, and that's a different issue than this. And actually, the abatement, the urban revitalization area cannot even be designated to include agricultural property. It has to be residential, commercial property. So he's gonna have to completely finish the zoning before you can officially adopt the urban revitalization portion. I mean, they can be kind of working in conjunction at the same time, but you can't adopt that until the zoning is already done. So he'll have that completed before you actually vote on this.
Yeah, the process is there for anybody to take advantage of. It's state law, so anybody can do it. If they do or don't, that's their choice. And I understand the timing. If it was mission critical, I could see you moving ahead and not going to all the bother, et cetera. Same thing for just, putting it on the historic register or any other thing that would happen if it was another type of property, but nevertheless, I don't see a problem.
Well, at this point, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're only gonna get more revenue at some point.
Yes,
If they don't do it, then we aren't gonna get anything, so.
Yeah.
and we're getting this same $1,000 an acre over that time frame of the tax.
Not an acre, $1,000 on the
Well,
crop. Yeah, or
yes,
whatever it
yes.
is, yeah.
Okay, I'll note that the consensus is there's interest in proceeding with the abatement, and he can go on to the next steps then.
Ben, we never really went that far. Basically, what are the next steps that I need to do?
I think you probably need to talk to a lawyer to start seeing how to steps in the paperwork it's gonna have to go through. The
Would he contact you then?
probably, unless it's somebody who's done this before. I mean, person who used to do all of these is retired, so hopefully he's passed on the reins to somebody, but yeah.
Do you know which firm that was?
It was the Haskey.
Okay.
Rick Zahaski had done every one that the county has done in the last 30 years or so. Had been prepared by Rick, so I don't know if you'll have to see and then have that that lawyer contact me and we can talk about procedure.
All right.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yep. Next up on the agenda, we're running a little behind, Stephanie Fromm, County Development and Tourism, letter of support for redevelopment tax credit. Good morning, Stephanie.
Morning. I think everyone had gotten a copy I saw via email of the letter. Does anyone have any questions? You want to go? It's the same project that you had submitted the letter of support for before, the housing project. So this new tax credit program, it's due here towards the end of the month. And it's called a redevelopment tax credit. It's very similar to the workforce housing tax credit, but we qualify because it's it was used formally for the daycare, obviously, so it's considered a gray field now and will be transitioned into residential. Very competitive, again, just like the last one that we had submitted, so not unsure of what the likelihood of us getting it, but again, we can't win if we don't play, so we're throwing our hat into the ring.
I'd motion to provide the letter of support.
Second. We have a motion and a second for supporting the letter of support for redevelopment tax credit. Is there any further discussion? None. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Make a copy right away so you
So,
can have
yeah,
it.
thank you. Thank you.
Good action. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thanks. Next item on the agenda, Jeff Kuboushek, our recycling supervisor with recycling updates.
Good morning, everyone. Just a couple things here. Our new baler, refurbished number 5 baler, we just got rolling with that last week, and Evan did put that on Facebook, but for people that aren't aware, we started accepting number 5 plastics. People ask what's number 5. Some of them examples would be like a yogurt container, cottage cheese, butter containers. We've been getting a lot of phone calls the last year about why we weren't taking number 5s, and we come across a pretty good deal from one of our buyers that buys a lot of our material, and they had a refurbished one. So we ended up purchasing that it would have been in June. And they just installed it. It would have been the last week of July. We kind of waited a little bit to let the word out because we wanted to make sure everything was working, and we had a few little bugs. Had to call the salesman. It wasn't in the operator's manual. They didn't specify a couple of details, so it was kind of more or less running on manual. But now we got it in auto, and we just made our first bale Thursday, actually. They're a smaller bale, but right now the price of them is about 3 cents a pound. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the biggest thing is it stays out of the landfill. That's the price right now. It's very volatile on the plastic side. And we would probably do like combo loads where we'd have, say, a half a load or whatever. But once we get rolling with it, the public knows. We're doing an article with Zach here this week just to get a little more exposure to it. But Evan put it out. There was quite a few likes on Facebook and comments, so should be a good thing. But everything, we got it running, started up this morning and was running good. And so once we get used to it, just a different machine, a few more buttons, but should be good. It looks like a pretty nice machine, pretty quiet. The bales are a little smaller, they're about 500 pounds, which,
So you can move in by hand.
not quite, preferably not. But, so yeah, other than that, it's been a little trial and error with the machine, but it's, up and running. We, like I said, kind of wanted to wait a little bit just to make sure everything was running good. But yeah,
The other big one with fives, it's like landscape. Containers of plants.
yeah. And if there's any questions, just call or, look on the container for the number 5 stamp on it. So, but if they have any questions, just call and we can
And they
sure
get-
help them out.
At the drop off, it gets mixed in with the
Yep,
ones and the
yep.
twos and,
Yep, so our current,
cans.
wherever our current bins are, they can just throw them in the combo section. So the plastic and metals. It's not marked on there. It says, I think, the 1 and 2s, but we'll have to get that changed. But yeah, they can throw it in the same spot as the 1 and 2s. So that should.
Same spot they've been throwing them for years.
Exactly.
Yeah, this way at least we're keeping them separate, where they're supposed to be. Yeah, it's a little bit better that way.
It's not about the money, it's about saving landfill space.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and extending the life of the landfill.
yeah, it should help quite a bit. That's where even price wise, like right now it's 3 cents, but when we get rid of some, it could be less than that. But the biggest point of it, even if we have to get rid of it for nothing, at least it's staying out of the landfill. So that's, and hopefully people will kind of rinse the containers out, would help us immensely. So the mess is, most people do a pretty good job. So hopefully, rinse the containers, with, especially with the yogurts and the butter, that stuff sticks in there a little more. So preferably, hopefully everybody will rinse a little bit better. And other than that, we're just looking at going over some prices, for loaders. Got 3 prices. You guys had put some money in the budget for that. So, I think we got that pretty much narrowed down. They're all local bids here, or quotes, so we'll be getting that here hopefully in the near future.
The fortunate thing is with the low bid one, the machine's already made. It's sitting there, but it could be up to 2
Next
years.
year,
Yeah, year or
Yeah.
2, wait, if you know.
And that's,
That's an articulating one?
yes, and the thing with that is
Safe.
for getting in and out, you get in on the side of the machine instead of crawling over, stepping over the bucket. And step over the bucket and then onto the frame. Well, this way, at least it's on the side, and then your tires, obviously, it pivots in the middle, so you're not skidding the tires. And then it'll have a cab, so we can utilize it in the wintertime also for snow removal. Right now, we basically use the pickup and plow, which works, but this way, we can probably do a little better job with the loader. I'll have a heater and stuff in there, so.
will our brush work on that one?
No, our brush goes actually on our lawnmower. Use that, if it doesn't get too packed down, we'll use that and kind of clean right in front there to try to get it down to the concrete, so.
And we discussed this in the committee meeting at length, about the advantage of an articulating versus a standard skid steer model.
Yeah,
And the safety issues and ergonomics and all the rest of that are far superior.
yeah,
We've not had any incidents down there, but this is just a good positive step moving
yeah,
forward.
be a lot easier access in and out of the machine by far.
Are we doing trade-in on the old one or?
Yep, we traded in, yes. Yep, so, but other than that, I don't have anything else for you guys, so. Okay, thank you very much.
Please.
Next on the agenda, Kueny, our county engineer. Ridge, River Road, traffic study.
Those are not done.
Thanks for waiting patiently.
Thank you. All right.
Is that the last culvert they're putting in on W-42 or you know?
I think we're gonna do some major repairs on another one if we don't replace it, so. It's a good question.
It's the last planned one. It's just. All right. I'll just go through this, I guess, before I start on all of it. So, they're starting on Frankville Road today. I didn't know that they were starting on it until after I'd sent this out already. I got a permit, on Friday afternoon, after 1 PM. Looked into it. I said, oh, that's for Frankville. And, so just, that's how the communication went. So so if you receive any calls about Frankville, I just want to just say that's the story on our end. We didn't know for sure they were starting. We just knew that there was a permit filed, as of Friday for the state.
It was on the radio.
Yeah, we had people working and looking into it, a little bit. And we thought we would start, so we were just trying to help people get them ready for it as much as we could. We didn't know for sure that they were gonna start until this morning. So just thought I'd bring that up as a verbal here. So just starting out the first line item, build grant, not a whole lot has changed. I had a conversation with the grants committee I haven't heard from them in a couple, 4 or 5 weeks. The idea is that we still might apply next year. There was some heartburn on the state level and with a couple of the other counties on that application with the consultant Kinley Horn, so we may be going through someone else. We'll see. I don't know a whole lot. The lead county, Marion County, has to make some decisions, and I'll pass them on as soon as I hear. But one thing they did say was the county application that won this year had been in there for 3 years, and so we've only been in there 2 years for this application. But we'll take it in there. Subdivision data, nothing new this week. Quarry Hill. A couple weeks ago, I had a quick conversation with Greg Bruning. We were both out on Bridge 307, so I had a quick conversation with him, letting him know that I wasn't trying to hold anything up on our end. So that happened. As far as Bridge 307 is concerned, the grading, we're at the road surface. There's some touch-up grading. We got to put riprap in, some seeding, road resurfacing, and then they've got a lot of debris that they've got to clean up. So, W42, there's one more culvert to put in. There's another culvert that they're looking at possibly putting in. They're gonna open up see what it looks like and see if we need to put a new pipe in. We're working with the farmers on that.
Has there been any talk about possibly removing a cattle crossing by Jerry Hunson's?
I'm not sure about that.
Is that not gonna be used? Yeah, I believe so. Either or, if it's not being used, now would be the time to.
Yeah, and then pave over, so that it's a better road once we get the cold in place done for sure.
And sometimes if those are in at the sections, they store them and use them
It could be
someplace else if they're still in good shape.
Like we just reused it on the 222nd there. We
Took the one out there, but I.
yeah, and ended up using just this year. So yeah, definitely want to ask that question. I haven't heard anything about that cattle crossing, to be honest. Scoop is in Ridgeway this week. Dirt Patchers in Locust Shop. I submitted my first submittal for the annual report by the DOT on Thursday of last week. That was a little bit of a process. I met with the Fort Shop on Tuesday, August 4th. The W42 asphalt patches were constructed last week. We're going to wait a little bit between the next set of patches. That way we get plenty of settlement. And so that's that's the plan there. Hopefully we'll get all those patches targeting before the August 24th school time. So that is a target. 2 insurance claims have been filed with NEICAC for accidents involving road crews since the last engineer's report. This is a safety issue. I don't really want to get into the whole lot of details publicly here, but we have some concerns there. Next item is interdepartmental loan approved on Monday, July 27th. Thank you, Ben, for working with the board on that for me in my absence. There's a picture of Lake 126 that's taken on Friday. So you can see the bottom is poured there. They'll be working on the interior wall next. We're looking at sometime this week.
That one's up by
Highlandville, yep. So a lot of earth moved on that one. So, yeah, it's a bridge to box that was one of the things we worked on. We are working with the DNR. Not sure if the meeting was going to be today or tomorrow on that vortex weir to allow this project to go through. As you know, I was on vacation on the last board meeting in Chicago. Had a wonderful time. Still catching up. I will not, due to catching up and other personal conflict, I will not attend NEICAC next week. Maintainer purchase approved in February is being outfitted with snow gear. It should be coming in. We probably have a claim session on this month, but still haven't heard confirmation on that.
Which shop gets
That goes down to Ford. So, and that's the $80,000, $50,000 trade-in machine. So that helps you. Traffic study for Canoe Ridge and River Road will be forthcoming at next meeting. It's just been, yeah, it was something I forgot about.
Price when you go on vacation.
I forgot about getting it done last week, is to be quite frank.
As of right now, the board's not planning to meet next Monday, so you have 2 weeks then and we can.
Yeah, you shouldn't have told me that then. I need every kick in the butt I can get on this.
But there's a lot of counties you drive around, it's 55, and even,
Yeah, we're,
highways too, I mean, everybody has to gotta pay attention, but.
yeah, it's even on Highway 52 at College Drive, they keep it at 55. And then up the hill, they'll change to 60 south of town there. So,
I ran down the edge and back, it's like, gosh, 60 or 55, you get down. Then 60.
my wife was
I mean.
My wife was complaining to me because I didn't tell her that I got pulled over on Highway 52, but I did. So
Majority of the counties have taken the same stance that we do.
I don't know about the majority. I would say,
Well, in our area up here.
Fayette's gonna keep 60 and Howard's gonna keep 60. So Alma Key is doing the same thing we are, and I think they're gonna be a little bit more, I'll call it conservative, and keep that speed limit down than we are, just based off the roads that I've coordinated them with.
We get to Howard and go flatter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of know Joel's philosophy on the speed, and it's not quite the same as what I feel comfortable with. So, yeah.
So the Canoe Ridge River Road traffic study will probably be ready in the next meeting, but the 60 mph, I'll just wait to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna commit to next week for that one, but I'm really close to that first. You've seen what I've done so far, or a piece of what I've done so far, and that whole analysis is It would have been done last week, had other things not come up, such as accidents and so forth. So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's the discussion. If you have any input on speed limits, I'm open to hearing them. I've been working with Dan Marks on some speed limits. Actually, Stephanie Fromm. So if you have certain inputs on that, let me know. I'm gonna try to incorporate, I'm working with John Yelly on one of the roads on this report right now as we speak. So I'm kind of sprinkling that stuff in as I get input from notable members of the public. So
Do you think, you think that the public is gonna be confused over this is a state domain, this is a city domain, this is a county domain? I mean, I didn't realize, because I don't travel 52 north that often, past Lutheran there, that was 55.
Yeah.
But it's in the city limits, so it falls in the city jurisdiction. But you're going, the state highway is going 60 miles an hour and then top of the hill on a downhill grade. That's a cash cow for the city of Decorah at the bottom.
I'm not trying to set up cash cows, and I don't think there's no indication from Dan Marks that we're trying to do any of this for revenue. The idea here is we have windy roads. The statewide application of this law does not fit Winneshiek County. It has given me a chance to review every single road. And in that vein, some things have come to light that, hey, we should maybe do this a little bit differently. Silver Springs, Village Road over in Bluffton. Those are just a couple of examples. So once that is done, then we will look at where we need to put signs, and that's going to be it's just going to be a bill that we have to pay for new signs. First thing will be to get 55-mile-an-hour speed limit signs everywhere we need to, and then we probably, just for clarity, should be putting 60-mile-per-hour signs up as well. Just because, like you said, there's so much confusion.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I think everything ought to be 60-mile-an-hour speed, because I don't think 60 on gravel is probably a very good idea in a lot of cases.
Well, the statute isn't 60 miles per hour for gravel.
No,
It's
I know,
not.
I'm just saying it's the extreme, because but I don't want the public to perceive that, gee, the state changed, our speed limits are now 60.
No,
I don't really want that.
the state statute says hard surface roads.
But
So-
Steve's point is that public maybe doesn't know the details.
Yes.
So we know, and they'll maybe even realize that gravels aren't part of that. But there might be, that's an example of other.
Yeah,
There might be other things that shouldn't be a part of that too.
And I'm just making it clear
Yeah.
that I don't have any intention. I don't have any intention at this time to even address the gravels. Is my intention to do it, because that's 800 and some, what is that, 840 miles of gravel roads that
Take forever.
yeah, I mean 220 is enough.
And I think that, Highway 52 north there, I do believe that's a state that regulates the speed limit.
I'm not sure who regulates that.
That ain't nothing to do with the city, that's.
City or county or anything
State.
like that, the state takes control. of their
I
own
would-
rules.
I would guess that Dan is right. I didn't want to clarify that, but I would guess that Dan is right on that.
A conversation at Calmer City Council one night was over the issue of they wanted the speed limits reduced coming into town by the school. And again, it flowed back to the state had to make that determination.
We gotta do a study.
That's the property owner and parent could have satisfaction. So they had to go that route, and it was not a local decision.
Same issue.
I got one, Ken Sapia asked about the cemetery coming out there by St. Benedict Cemetery. If we could get something from the south. She said a lot of times they're out there mowing, they unload maybe on the road, and
I know her phone call.
dangerous. dangerous place.
Yeah, you've given me her
Yeah.
phone number about 3 weeks ago, and
Yeah,
I am
see if we can get
Tardy
something
on that.
something for that.
Do we have,
That's a huge safety. Yeah.
do we have
Just
those
need to slow
portable,
it down.
any portable mowing signs where they could put a, mowing in progress or something like that, they could put up and take down just as a precautionary thing?
Let me see what she wants, and I think that,
They would just, I kind of talked to her, just, some kind of signage that say, hey, hidden driveway ahead, busy or something, something to say, slow down or beware.
but the idea would be that she would put those temporary signs up.
Well, or if we could put a board have going on that, just a permanent one. Just, cause it doesn't matter if it's a funeral or mowing or just somebody going in and out there, it's somebody it's fairly busy probably, cause it's their main cemetery and it's just a busy
Yeah,
place.
What if we had something that said caution, event ahead or something like that, that's an existing type of sign that they could put up for whatever reason to take that?
Or else, even if it's just.
that's always been my trepidation here, because it's my fault that I haven't talked to, this person. But if it's a temporary sign you put up, the only involvement from the county at that point would be to get a permit of some sort at that point in time. But what I'm hearing is that you want me to do something about this, which is a little more involved.
I would say a permanent sign, so it's there.
Because if it's the lit person mowing and they have access and can put up a sign, that's one thing, but if it's someone going to visit a gravesite or there's a funeral or whatever, they aren't gonna know that there should be a sign put up.
Do they not have off-street parking there though?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with it.
You.
I don't, but she said it's just people come flying up over that hill when they're.
I need to speak with her myself, and what it comes down to.
Something like hidden driveway, hidden entrance, I mean, you see those.
Slow people down
I
somehow.
think people are more responsive to temporary one.
And she wasn't asking for a speed study.
Otherwise,
no.
Just, she wants some kind of signage or something to help, just, it's a safety,
Yeah,
and it's a busy, it's a bigger one.
I haven't put
Yeah.
a modicum of thought to it, but it's just been.
Yeah,
Where it's one of those
No, I
issues
thought
where,
it-
when I outlined in my head before the conversation.
Talked to her the other day.
Yeah.
Well, and I know you guys don't know anything about it. John Bowenstein showed me that bridge thing. That you had sent him,
Okay, yeah.
that preformed thing. I thought
Yep,
that
the
was
input
really
bridges
interesting.
by CMC, yep. Yeah, no, I got on a webinar and I sent over the Peter Meyer bridge specs from Howard County, and I sent over our bridge inspection reports for the bridge we're looking at next year. So they're supposed to kind of get me what they think it would cost the county to put in this input bridge system that I sent him.
It's like
I can forward
sections,
you.
they're like preformed bridge. They come in and they set the embankments. They put them in, pours the concrete in. They come in, set the pillars, your decking is right on there. It speeds up the process of building back, which was
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
I sent that to him probably within an hour of having that webinar and having contact with the salesman. So, yeah, comes down to price, really. Got an email this morning from theirs and they said, oh, the Peter Meyer seems like a very economic alternative. So they're already feeling they're gonna have to come to a reasonable price on the alternatives here. So,
Some years back, there was that whole, when previous engineer work was on that committee, that wasn't for the prefabricated bridges, that was for the like pre-designed bridges. They were like putting together these bridge designs that if your space fits this and if it's this long and this much, here's a bridge that's already designed, you just.
well, that's what the bridge standards already have.
Yeah.
The difference here is, so like bridges require steel reinforcement, right? Well, all that's steel reinforcements happening on site, you're sweaty, you're ladder's not just right. Well, all that stuff is done in the shop and then they carry that page out on site. So that you just, you know, in the process of things, just drop it in place and then top it off with concrete kind of a thing.
I was just commenting that it used to be that there wasn't nearly as much pre-designed part, and we went through a process of going through that study, and now taking the next step is
So to your point, the Iowa bridge standards that you're referencing there, one of the reasons why they haven't put a bridge in Iowa is because
these type of prefabricated reinforcements haven't exactly met the specs or something.
well, no, because Iowa is so efficient at bridge building.
Oh,
And these standards are wide, but they don't have the issue that you have with those is you have to run it through a contract, you have all of these things that your crew isn't ready to do. So if we have, you know, we have three bridge crew, and this bridge crew, they're good laborers. So with just a little bit of coaching and work, all of a sudden it may not be an Iowa DOT standard, but it's already stamped by somebody else that I don't have to put a stamp on something I didn't do. I just get the grades all right to make it correct. It's just another tool in a tool belt, so to speak, on bridge design. I was not expecting the title and the description of the webinar. It wasn't indicative that you know, how good this presentation was. So yeah,
it's kind of come full circle. I mean, you go back 50 or 70 years, and whatever it was, the bridge crew built a lot of the small bridges, but they didn't have nearly the standards and specs that you do now. So a lot of them were.
So going back to them, I mean, we've gone through a couple of the bridge inspections, and I don't know if I'm taking up anybody's time, but we've gone through some of these bridge inspections that were built then. Some of them are still really good bridges, but we don't have
We don't have
we don't have any of the details. So
Yeah.
if something starts to go wrong on it, the worst assumptions made are by the bridge inspector, even though it's probably not done that way, right? So I mean, we're starting to run into some of those issues, especially up your state line road.
Yeah, well, it's good.
So-
It's good that you can utilize your bridge crew more. You're getting back to the point, because, you know, even 10 years ago, bridge crew didn't build a single bridge. I mean, they replaced planks and, you know, that kind of thing, but they didn't actually do any building. So we might be getting back to the point where you can some savings and money.
The savings is either to get them to do that or not have the people, then you wouldn't have the people in the winter to do road maintenance in the winter. So if they're gonna be here for road maintenance in the winter, what's the best use of their time in the summer? That's the goal, is to make the best use of their time in the summer. So yeah, I mean, if we had three less guys, you know, that's $300,000 or a little bit more every year. We could be having someone else, you know, stuff they're doing, which I think we're getting better
If we
bang for the
get
buck.
back on the backside by them doing the work, and it's costing a lot less than contracting the work out.
I think we're getting our money's worth out of it. I think we have been getting our money's worth out of the bridge crew for as long as I've been here. I mean, putting those pipe in,
They did a really good job on that thing.
and as long as I've been here, those pipes are as well constructed as I've, you know, with the ties, with the backfill, with everything. I'm just gonna say it, for the last three years, they've been really good. So.
Thanks, Mike. Couple miscellaneous items, first of which is the Verizon lease response.
So Andy put together, I don't know if you saw that email. A proposed response to their request. And once, and then you have this paper that came from the Verizon. I think that's what this is. This one here, I was sitting on the table when I got here. But anyway, that's what they're trying to.
That came from a
and
concerned citizen.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, anyway, the Verizon was asking to decrease from $675 per month with a 2% per year increase to go down to $545 per month with a 1.5% increase per year. So they're asking for a reduction in their rent to be able to keep that power. And so the last time you talked about this, you had given Andy some direction that you might consider a reduction in rent if they were willing to give something up. And so wants to know if this response sounded appropriate. So and basically, the first concession you're asking is that the lease wouldn't be subject to the lessee's approval if you want to sell the property. So if you put a paragraph in there that if you want to sell it, then you can sell it without getting them to approve it. The other one is that either side can terminate the lease with a 1-year notice. And then the third thing is to allow to put 911 equipment on the tower within the height and frequencies that doesn't interfere with what Verizon's doing. So if there were, Andy basically wants to know if there's other details or other concerns, or if he should respond with this to the Verizon person and then see how they respond back.
Yeah, cause we were on that tower up at Baroque that time, we were 2 or 3 years, they won, not doing nothing.
To say, yeah, so we paid rent,
Paying a lease for,
even though we didn't even have any equipment.
and they wouldn't let us do any, have somebody, no.
Thing is, reducing it maybe if we get to use it for our own.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that would.
They wouldn't do a thing for us, so.
No, do absolutely nothing for
I
us.
think, what did that cost us up there?
Oh, shoot, it was a ridiculous amount. It was tens of
Thousands, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like 20-some thousand. Don't quote me, but it was over the period of what they wouldn't. Cause we finished our tower up there, we thought, well, maybe they could lease it off to somebody else, but no,
1,000 a month or something.
absolutely not.
What number do you have, 2,000?
I was thinking 2,000.
Yeah, that was the number I had in my head.
Yeah, it was. You sign a lease, that's your problem, is basically what they said. Now we have a lease with them.
And we'll modify it if they want to go to those terms.
Terms, yeah.
We can utilize it.
If we can utilize it, that would be,
So do you want me to give Andy a blessing to go ahead and respond and see where they come back on this?
Come back.
Or do you have one?
I just think
There weren't other things to consider or other terms, I think.
as long as we're out of it, the minute we say we don't want it, I mean, they gotta take it down, that's. As long as we ain't tied in at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a current lease with them, so
Yeah.
I think we are tied in for whatever the remainder on the current lease. I think there's probably 3 or 4 years.
Well, I'd say that'd have to go away if we're. doing-
Yeah, so this would replace that.
Replace that lease,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why he wanted to make sure that the termination clause was in there and that you could sell it without getting their permission. It's-
Yeah.
Don't we have a termination clause now? Thought we did.
No, I don't think you do, because instead you have these every 5-year renewals. So you hit one and you're locked in for 5 more years. So then at that point, you could decide to not renew it. But once you hit it and go through it, then you've automatically renewed it for another 5 years. So that was part of the reason you want to make sure you have a termination clause.
All right, next up, Northeast Iowa Community Action Group, lease amendment for public health.
You get a note here, and I'll get that out. Okay, this is, public health is reducing their square footage by,
31%.
maybe I don't have the,
31%, 100.
so they have the paper here, let me. Maybe need to, I maybe didn't have it. Anyway, I don't have the paper in front of me, but they have, Andy's reviewed it. Public health is okay with it. They're still working on the details of getting their stuff moved. And, community action has sent us a lease amendment, which I didn't print out to get Dan to sign. So after the meeting, if you could, if this gets approved, if you would stop up and I can have you sign it, but it'll reduce the amount we pay monthly there approximately a third or more. Not quite half, but
About 2,700. Gets it down to 20. 21. Yeah.
I thought I had printed that out, but I must have either
Well,
left it on my desk, but you can take action, you know about it. I think the public health and community action are both willing.
$2,100, $24.42. It's down from 3,000 some, it's almost 1,000, not quite $1,000 a month less, so. That was, I mean, didn't get her half, so. we got
Almost a third
a
less.
third, just a
Yeah.
scant third, so that's.
Would anyone like to take action?
I motion to approve the lease adjustment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the lease amendment for public health. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Did you see this, Ben? Committee reports?
Public health met on, public health. Historic Commission met on Saturday,
I didn't see this, but I'll take it if you're okay.
and they're moving forward for their October 17th. So they're gonna be holding across the street before I was doing for like-minded folks, and it should be a very good event. I'd encourage you to go, Mark.
It's October 17th.
October 17th starts at 8:30, check in, the event probably starts at 9. But many of the other groups throughout the state will be there. They put a lot of effort into getting the word out, probably expect a pretty good amount. There's I think $15 registration fee or 20 at the door. It's not going to break the bank for anyone, but it'll be, it just covers the costs of what they're putting out, but it's a good event. They've got a number of good speakers that'll be focused on those topics, including a lot of the Indian heritage. I think one of the tribal council members will be there to also speak.
Was it 17th, you said?
17th, Saturday.
I'll let you guys know, the Spectrum is out of that space in the Community Services Building, that central area. The HHS is gonna take that over. They have a few tasks, which we kind of knew was coming. The side on the top that is next to Spectrum, we're gonna insulate that on the top side and sheetrock that for a sound barrier. There used to be 2 doors coming into there, one up toward the front, and one to the rear. They just want that rear one put in to the other side.
Okay.
And it's pretty easy to find because the door stops are still on the wall. So you know, right where the door was, we were trying to figure out exactly where we're looking, it's like, well, there's a door stop, so right, obviously, the door was right there. So we'll have to put that one door in there, there's that whole front counter that goes across the glass area in the front. They want that shortened and just slid down to the Spectrum side, so you can get closer to the counter. And then that will enable them to put a desk in that corner.
in that corner.
Yeah, it'll fit in there better. They were talking about a buzzer unlock for the other door. And I think John was taking care of the keypad on the lunchroom, restroom door there. Right now, they only have 2 keys. So if you go in there, there always someone's looking for the key, or if there's a keypad on there, take care of it. And obviously, we're gonna have to paint on the top, so we might as well paint that. That room needs it.
Then cover up the little. Their little deal now on the side.
I don't even think we're gonna have to.
Oh.
I don't believe we have to. They really didn't talk about taking that out. And just a wall behind the windows that kind of separates all the desk space. You know, just go up 8 foot, and seems to kind of block it. For the privacy. And another thing there, for the desks that go on that wall on the backside, we'll just need an outlet or the hookups for.
Or to accommodate a desk in front.
Yeah.
So are you or somebody's already coordinating this to get this
Yeah.
accomplished?
Yeah, John talked with Russ, he was supposed to let him know from the get. I'll give that Rusty a call.
Yeah. So, yeah,
The sooner we can get them that done, get them moved, then we can start the
Yeah, process.
process of getting the county attorney space.
because there are certain things that HHS has to line up to have moved too.
Yeah,
They're gonna move the copiers and stuff into that room. Well, they have to schedule an appointment to have that. Moved. They can't just unplug it.
Because they don't have their own they hire out to IT now.
Yeah.
The state got rid of,
yeah,
they
that's right.
got rid of their own people, now they hire out. And most of the people that work for the state, I went to work for this one entity, the
And
way they were
there's,
talking.
they still have one guy,
Yeah.
they have one guy back
Back.
that is overseeing the performance of this company that's hired. And it's not just HHS. The state hired this company
For everything.
for everything within the state. And I thought that was a pretty big gamble, but that's just my opinion. So that's what that is. If someone else needs it, let them know, but
You know, that's dicey if it was not what we saw as a result of what they were doing with the contractor that came in for the courts on the 3rd floor for a small courtroom. It was not pretty. So, I mean, this could be a little dicey.
Well, a couple things.
Is
Is he was still with colored in water? Did anyone talk to them about that or?
What about
Well, why are we paying for it?
for water softener, for the
No.
water down?
It's for,
no, that
Oh,
was,
bottom, is that?
it's, well,
It's in the bill.
that was water softener.
yeah, that was water softener to be rebuilt. That was for LTI. This is for colored in. We're renting a cooler for $20 a month, which you can buy one for $80 or. You know,
Well, that's something we should probably talk.
and then
about.
we talked about it before, then the water usage is $62 a month. The same way at the jail, you know, we're renting something from the jail for $123 a month. And then I see Roadhead, $16 or something for Pelican. But if it's a policy that we're gonna provide water, I mean, it's different if the well water's bad and there's nothing.
I think they had the Pelican cooler and bottled water there because they didn't know that they weren't having the well tested regularly.
So I think-
But now they're in town, so the question is, do they need that?
Because otherwise people will say, well, we want it up on the 3rd floor of the courthouse here too. It's like, it's
Just another piece of their whole.
It's $80, it's you know,
$1,000.
$82 a month down there. And obviously the jail is paying $123 a month, but I don't know what that one with the road one, it's for $16 or something. that's a one-time deal or not. But maybe we should look at a policy about water. In today's world where people have filters and can bring their own water.
Yeah. Well, I would think it's probably, at least for this one, it's worthy of just asking them next time you're visiting with them if they need that still.
Yeah, they don't.
And if they really, if there's a question, maybe you can make a one-time, put in a drinking fountain with a bottle filling thing like we have in the courthouse, and then that
Takes care
would
of the
take care of it
Well,
for,
they got the kitchen there, they go in the kitchen.
yeah, they got that too, but yeah.
But anyway, it's just a small thing. And then the other one is the cement on the backside of the building.
I talked to John, he is gonna have somebody look at it and see if they.
Yeah, you
It
we get
is,
several calls to Spala for the mud jacking to raise that up. It's a lot less money to mud jack that up and fix it rather than
Tear it all out.
remove and replace.
yeah, it's not in bad shape. It's just settled a lot there.
And so Spala, he even called him again today, so and he's waiting for him on his own house, so it's,
We're gonna have to, I see the electric bill down there was just short of $5,000 this month to get it.
on the electricity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Their food company's gonna have to do a 3-month subsidy or something a little bit, because that's ridiculous, yeah. That's for them, because they gotta keep theirs at 70 or below, for it to keep for all them, that's. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, you're right at $5,000 in
Yeah.
the courthouse.
was 2,600.
Yeah.
Consent agenda, before I forget.
Yep, we got the minutes, the claims, and recorder's monthly report.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
Yeah. Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Got assigned claims here. You're done looking at that?
Yeah. It's all-
I have conservation meeting tomorrow.
When you public could make last week or this week,
Next Wednesday.
you want this, and that's up for you, so you can, but I'll give Ryan know exactly what I was showing you.
After that meeting, maybe I can give you guys a little more insight on our replacement guy. Does anyone have anything else?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Four people can use more office supplies than 40 people at the jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what? 18 binders and wire notebooks for 4 people.
Where's that?
Public health, look at that on the disbursements right there. 8. Just unbelievable.
How much were the spiral notebooks? So what's the Dollar Tree?
Yeah, from the Walmart ones, the school supplies are out at the Walmart.
No, like a buck a piece.
Well, they were $8.22 a piece.
Oh, my goodness.
And then there was 8 other notebooks, business notebooks for $10 and $11 a piece.
And you want to stop up and sign that,
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah, I can do
media
that.
action lease?
$600 worth of office supplies for 4 people.
You're going to.
Yeah. No, I don't, for me, I'm laying down. No, I don't need some other counties for that. No. You're gonna have to truck it on your own. Is Shirley going with you?
She is doing. Yeah.
Okay, Fatima, they're down to, they're all gone, actually. They're all leaving right now.